everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how I made these hexagon handles for the high-speed steel striker and for Nathon4071's hexagon ferro rod, and he calls this the Chin-6-Gon. I love the way he names them. So I haven't even used it yet. I'm going to show you how I make it, and then we're going to test it out. So stay tuned. Alright, so we're going to start with this piece of pine. This was from an old bed frame. I never throw wood out. And this is an 1.125" thick. And I ripped it down to an 1.125" square on my table saw. I'm not going to show you the cuts and stuff because it's pretty boring and pretty straightforward. So you can do it any way you can. You can use a handsaw, jigsaw, table saw, bandsaw, whatever you got. Alright, so I'm going to make my handles just a little under 3 inches each. So I cut a piece 8 inches long. This is just scrap because I want to show you the rest of the process. So I can make both in one shot. Now the next thing I did was I took a compass and I went approximately halfway and I set it. Okay, so halfway to the center. Took a piece of cardboard, and we're going to draw a circle. This sort of take you back to grade school. Okay, now we're going to take this, and we're going to make another mark. We're going to go on this line. Just make a random mark, like that. See that? I went on the outside circumference of the circle. Then you're going to go right into that where that crosses. Make another mark. There. Make another mark. And then there. And make another mark. Now you're going to need yourself a straight edge. And you're going to attach those points. I'll just use this for now. So you see. And there's your hexagon. Then I took a pair of scissors and I just cut it out. Then I took it, I put it on the end of my wood, and I drew the outline onto the wood. Now I was experimenting with different ways on cutting it out. On the table saw, tilting the blade at 30 degrees because the hexagon ends up at 120 degrees, this angle here. So I tilted it. I did something wrong. I didn't like the way it came out. It's sort of a hexagon, but it's not equal. So I was messing around. I was going to make a jig, because this was very tricky to do on the table saw. Yeah, I kind of was a little nervous because once you start getting down to the small pieces, there's not much bearing surface. So I was going to make a jig for my router table, and I said to myself, wow, you're thinking about this way too much. It's just a small little project. 6 inches worth of 8 inches worth of stock. So I just dug out my dad's old block plane, Stanley. This one was beat up. You can see here it's broken here, but it still works. The blade is extremely sharp, and I just used this. And all I did was, after I drew it out, I took my block plane and I just started going at it. And I ended up with my 2 hexagons. Now, are they perfect? Nah, they're not perfect. But they're the same size. They look pretty good. Okay. Then the next step I did was I drilled my holes. One for my high-speed striker and one for the actual ferro rod. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand these up a little bit, try to refine them. And then I'm going to put a chamfer around the edges. So again, boring kind of stuff. Just I'll be using my belt sander. and when I get them to the point where I want them, I'll bring you back. All right, so I used my belt sander, and I just put this on it and rotated it around like this. And got a chamfer on top and the bottom. And next thing I'm going to do now is just get a sandpaper, 220, and I'm going to sand all the flats, sand the chamfers, get it all nice and smooth, and we'll get a stain on it, and we'll continue on. So I'll be back after that. Alright, so I softened all the edges, gave it a nice stain. This is a min wax. It's called Provincial. I think it looks good. Next is we're going to put a coat or two of a varnish, a polyurethane varnish, and then I'll bring you back when that's done, and we'll continue on. Alright, so I got it all glossed up. Nice polyurethane varnish on it. Looks nice. I'll tell you, surprisingly comfortable for being, you know, having all these angles on it. And make sure you clean up the end of the ferro rod, get the coating off before you epoxy it in and degrease it. And then here's our high-speed striker, or scraper, whichever you prefer. So I'm going to get this epoxied in. I'm going to let it set and cure, probably overnight. Then we'll be back and we'll make some fire and we'll wrap this up. Alright, so the epoxy cured, and while it was curing, I made this little drawstring pouch out of some polyester I had laying around. I made 2 compartments. There it is. I'm really digging the way it came out. Now it's time to test it. Let me get my little fire tray and some fat wood, and we're gonna get this going. Alright, so I have some Florida fat wood. Now the first thing you got to do is you got to get the coating off of whatever side you're going to use. So let's get some of this off. It's already firing up. Oh, these things are unbelievable. I want to see how far away I could get. Look at that. Unbelievable. And it hasn't even scraped off all of the coating yet. Amazing. Look at that. The having the flats on this, I think, is genius. Look at this fat wood. Holy cow. That smoke is unbelievable. Let me get this out of the way. Alright. That was some serious black smoke. So again, I think the flats are just, it's genius. Because, as you know, I said it before, when you're running the scraper down a round rod, you're making a flat. So why not start out with one? I mean, you saw the lava that thing just throws. So there you have it. A nice set of a hexagon ferro rod and a high-speed steel striker with some hexagon handles. I think it's a beautiful set. Again, I want to thank my brother Nathon4071. You're just a great guy and very generous, and I can't thank you enough. And I hope everyone enjoyed watching this and inspired you to go out and make some handles for yourself and go pick up a nice hexagon rod. I'll have all the links in the description. And I hope you're having a great day. And like always, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate all your views. And I can't thank you enough. So we'll see you on the next one.